No, I am making my friend.
We need a little bigger table next time. Next time we need a little bigger table. When the truth of it, I know that you were a bit surprised, but so let's start.
First of all, I make a slight apology in that I will be going in and out a bit because Ava seemed to arrange for me to meet the Commission Chairman to discuss their budgets today. I think all of them wanted today because they thought I'd be nicer to them or something. Anyway, so I will be going in and out a bit to meet them. Over the last few days, we've been having meetings with Ruth Herring, with Michael Khodorkovsky, J.J. Owlin, Andrew Siegler, is it? The Swiss delegate, and been discussing or trying to come to, Willie was there on us, we've been having meeting FIDE, so Willie was there on our part, Israel was there, David was there, to try and come to an agreement as to, if we can come to agreement over the statute rather than have to fight over them beforehand. And I think these meetings have been very fruitful. I think we've come to, in most cases, an agreement. There are a few comparatively minor things that we haven't agreed with so far. Macro then met with Ms. Santens yesterday. She apparently had some more points, and we'll be meeting with her a bit later to cover those. But this meeting is for those people who wish to raise, well, first of all, we'll describe what's happened. Obviously, some of you might disagree with what has been agreed with, but also for the other matters that are to be raised. And our meetings were really based on White and Case's letter, Silvio's letter carrying White and Case's latest comments on the amended amended statutes. As you probably saw, David had been writing the statutes for us, put out an initial thing of which we got several people responding, and a large response from White and Case. The White and Case, then we took on board a lot of what White and Case said. White and Case claimed 50%, we claimed probably even 60% of what White and Case said, because there were some very sensible suggestions amongst those that they produced, so we took those on board. And when the agendas went out, we had a updated and much better document than we'd sent out originally, having taken into account the views of people who said it. Since that went out, the only response we've received was the denial of White and Case response. So we decided to base our meetings with Mrs. Herring and others, using that White and Case response to try and see if we could, because obviously it was the major points that they didn't agree with, and we used the White and Case response as the basis of our meetings. Now, there are a number of things that, let's say, we went through, and the first one was the unlimited vice president nominations, which people were worried about. If you remember, the proposal was that the original proposal was that the president would nominate, or could say, I would like to nominate X number of vice presidents. The General Assembly could say, yes, you can, or no, you can't. And however many vice presidents he nominated, then the General Assembly could elect a similar number of vice presidents. It was felt, and I think everybody agreed, that having an unlimited number would be a bit crazy. And I think the consensus came down to having 5, maybe 4, but probably 5 was the consensus at the time, that 5, the president could nominate up to 5, and the General Assembly could then elect the same number as the president nominated with a minimum of 2. Has anybody got any comments on that? Yes.
Representative of France.
In France, you're going to speak
No, I was referring to the language adopted in the room. Yes, but just to avoid any questions. So I'm not sure about the consensus. I think there was an agreement, as I understand, that unlimited numbers would be unreasonable. But I think that having 5 plus 5 will create an unmanageable board and will devalue the title of vice president. So maybe we should just discuss it again. And 4, I think it's also a bit excessive. 3 would be nice, but definitely anything more than 4 creates presidential board that will need probably an extra board inside that because there will be too many people that will look like more like executive board. So that's a comment.
Other comment? I believe that the main point here for 4 or 5 is not to do vice presidents more, because we're talking for 2 more or 2 less. If there are 4, there are 8 above the vice presidents of the ticket. If there are 5, there are 10. The main point I'm afraid here is that FIDE has been sued for 5 that Kizan nominates, and some people don't want 5. They prefer 4, just to show that even this what happened, even if FIDE finally won this court case, the number is not correct. I believe that Kisaki had a reason, and he explained his reason when he nominated 5 vice presidents. And I think if we go out from our original proposal, which was the president can present his idea, what he has, General Assembly can reject if they don't like. I believe that the number 5 is a number based on the experience that we have today. It's a number 5. The number 5 is a number which really can satisfy any president, not only any president who will be elected. At the same time, it gives more space to those that they want to be elected. And normally, most of them are coming from the opposition, let's say, from those that they lost the election. It gives more places for them to be elected also. And it's not really that we cannot manage the board with 2 more or 2 less vice presidents. So this is our point here. We can have a dialogue, Gary, of course,
it's about mathematics. It's just, you mentioned 5. I'm just responding that it's already 2 in the ticket.
I said
which means 7.
I said above those that are in the tickets. We are talking for 8 or for 10. The 2 that are in the tickets. I mentioned already. Yes, Mark.
But the change is really from the president appointing 2, and the individual election is 3, and 2 in the ticket. So when you look at the statutes, the change is much bigger than the difference between 5 and 4. So that's the real issue, whether because you can't count it just from what happened last time.
But I'm looking at the reality that today we have 5.
Yeah, but we have 20 years before with not 5. So.
Yes, but today we have 5. This is my point here.
Today we have 5, but not 5, but not 5 elected.
Correct. So actually we are increasing the number of elected. Yes.
Yeah. I want to say that FIDE has grown bigger and bigger, and it seems to me it's a little ridiculous to discuss in this body about 4 or 5 vice presidents. It depends on the work which is to be done, of course. And on the other hand, I think it is important to see also that for those people who are elected vice presidents, it is a chance to be more active in their country, to get their image. They get an image in their country, and that may help them to do something in their country also for developing chess. I think we should take into account this moment also.
Thank you, Professor. Any other comment? So, I believe we should not stick on it. We'll go to the assembly. We say, okay, it's 4 and 5, assembly can decide. What do you think?
And again, what happens the question you raised yesterday, that if none of the proposal gets two-thirds,
Listen, we are intelligent people. We should find a solution to this.
I prefer to find a solution here in this round and to go only with one number to the General Assembly, because then the discussion and that costs time, and if we go with the proposal, it will be accepted.
So how we can find a solution here? Yes.
I think in general, not only for the problem, but in general, I think we have to find an agreement on how we can discuss in the following days, because we have 2 days of discussions, executive board meeting, General Assembly. So what I would like to propose is something as this. We can, for example, today discuss all the points. After maybe have some notation by the competent organ, in this case the Constitutional Committee, can maybe this night draft a brief note about some possible proposals. The next day maybe try to find a consensus among all the participants. This way probably already in the day of the executive board we can have, I hope, something that is agreed by all the delegates and the presidents.
Mr. Rivero, that's why we have scheduled 2 meetings, extra meetings, and we are meeting also with the Constitutional Committee, exactly for what already you are proposing we have planned, trying to reach the Assembly, having, if it is possible, one proposal. It looks that most of the points will not be a problem. There are few points that we need to discuss more and more, and this is what we are going to do. But if at the end we cannot convince everybody, because most probably it will not be possible to convince everybody for any one of these, 4 or 5, let's say like here, then there's not other solution.
Sure.
Of course we will try, but we have planned this.
Will be the last
have
chance.
this
What
meeting,
is important is not to have just bilateral meetings between parties that are more critic against some solution. I think that this is the right place to discuss and to find a possible solution. Maybe I think we will be able to find a solution. Clear that there are many points that could be discussed. For example, the same names of 5 presidents in the moment when there are 2 or 4 vice presidents. It is reasonable to call them vice presidents, but there are 12 vice presidents. But this is another. But I know that vice president is much more appreciated as a name, and so it's better to say this name. So, but I think that we have to find a common agreement here.
What he said, Mr. Yukuri, is actually the main idea. Because when Kisan, for example, he is nominating from a big country vice president, and it happens in the history, he nominated from the United States vice president, from China one vice president. Why he is doing this? Because he wants to open the market there. He wants to be able to find events in these countries. So there is a reason that he is doing this. And I agree with Professor Jungri that it's important every time how much is the work that we are going to do. That's why actually we didn't propose any concrete number, because maybe he needs 3, maybe he needs 4 or 5. If you want, we can have a limit. We can say 5 is the limit, but he can have 3 also. The General Assembly should decide
Up to 5.
Up to 5, and to go to our original proposal, which is up to 5, General Assembly decides. General Assembly can say 4, can say 3, you understand? We can go to this. So General Assembly every time can decide, which is a compromise, which can work, let's say. Depends, he has to come and explain why he needs 5 to the Assembly.
Could be an agreement,
I think
compromise will do a motivated proposal.
I think this is something that maybe we could agree. What do you think, Gary?
I think it's still, it's not clear why 4 vice presidents should be added. They were 8. And I'm not a great expert. I would like to understand how much they are engaged in, what kind of quality work they did, because they had these magic VP letters next to their FIDE position. So going from 8 to 12, I don't know. I think there are two sides of the coin. I agree with Professor Junger that FIDE has been growing, and of course having more vice presidents makes sense, but adding more means you devalue the title. So it's I would still think that, you know, we don't have to just to give chance for a big crowd to decide on the number. I think 4 is also excessive, but it's better than 5. So I still believe in quality rather than in quantity.
Yeah, and we believe also in quality, but quality and quantity is better than just quality. And the number is not 8. This moment is there 10. So we are talking that in the worst case, if assembly accepts, it will be 12. But assembly should accept. And I think this is logical.
Is them 2 more from the assembly too?
Yes.
As an example of the work of the vice president, we're here in this beautiful Olympiad, run by a vice president.
I think there are different opinions on the quality of the organization.
Okay, now don't start starting to organize now, but in any case, we have to do it.
So everybody has freedom, you know. So
Okay, but we did come here to
yes,
fight
yes.
or to judge
no,
your
no,
work.
I can defend myself. I am not insulted.
Okay. Morton, yes?
Yeah, I agree that the quality of the vice president and their work is very important. And I also agree with Professor Jungwirth that we have grown. Nevertheless, we also know that part of this is appointing friends because they have helped you in the election. So I think based on this, it's very important to find a consensus that can sort of bring both these sides together. Because we know, everybody here, what is happening after the election. So I don't think you can just purely rule this out and only argue from the qualitative point of view. Thank you.
Yes, Morten, but whatever you say now, because you are saying that the president will be elected, is going to nominate some of his friends. I hope that the president who is elected is nominating some of his friends that he thinks that they can help him. But this applies to all candidates, not only to his son. So nothing is wrong here if he is choosing some people that he is trusting to help his work. Don't turn everything to dirty deals, under table arrangements. This is not bad. If another president is elected in the future, also he will nominate some of the people that he trusts. It's not wrong here. Nothing is wrong. As long as the people they have the quality, what you said, and this is what we should try to be sure in the future that it will be the situation, then this is okay. It's not a problem.
Sorry, can I add something to that as well, Morton? Is that if you limit the number of nominations the president makes, then it means that he and his supporters are much more likely to push for the friends that he didn't nominate to be elected in the General Assembly. If he has nominated enough, or whatever it is, he nominates the 5, then it's less likely for him to try and influence the General Assembly's vote for the other vice president. So I think it makes a board that is more open if that happens.
Yeah, I just want to make one comment because I was part of the negotiations to create those individually elected in 2002. And on the first time they were elected, there were at least 2 coming from the other side elected as individual vice presidents. My point is that 12 vice presidents from any point of view is excessive. It's too much in my point of view. Now, we cannot, in the statutes, regulate how people are maneuvering to get their people in or not in, but I think the number is too high. This is my point.
There is any other opinion?
Could be a solution to add an honorary vice president and
No, it's not. I think my proposal is solving the problem, actually. Why we should decide today, the number 4 or 5, we don't know what are the needs of the next president. Why we should decide today this? I think my proposal would say is the Assembly will decide 4, 5, whatever after the new president presents his proposal, but the maximum is 5. So we are going out of the problem that we have now, 4 or 5, and the assembly every time we can decide. Why we should decide here, a small group of people, each one has his own ideas or targets. I think the right way is this. We limit the number to 5 maximum. We go to the assembly. The president who is elected, he should present his idea why 5 and not 4 or not 3 or whatever, and assembly decides about the number. I think this is correct. We should not be afraid of the decisions of the assembly. In any case, the assembly is the right body to make such decisions. Yes, but
The main point is the improvement now. Before it was unlimited, now there's a limit. And regarding the number of vice presidents, in the Philippines we have 16 vice presidents. It's a matter of the work involved.
But just for the procedure, what about the 3 individually elected? Will they be kept under any circumstances? I didn't catch the...
4 or 5, depends what they are nominated. This is the main proposal.
But if the president say, I nominate 2,
We
So
can make
2 will
it.
be elected.
but it's already today 3 in the statute.
Okay, so we change it. Same
As a
number.
minimum of 3.
We're changing the
individually.
status, you know.
Same number. Same number.
Same number.
Will be whatever number will be nominated will be elected. Same number.
Okay, let's think about
Yeah,
this.
just respecting
In
the
any
fact
case-
that some are individually elected was
Yeah.
my point. So
Yes.
the president can't say, I appoint no one, and no one is elected.
No, there's a
No,
minimum.
no,
please.
will be the minimum
Two.
2. We can keep this minimum 2. Let's
Yeah,
say.
it's 3 actually.
Minimum 2 for both. We'll keep. Okay. Next.
Okay. The next point was proxy. Sorry, Gary, yeah.
Yeah, I think since we were discussing vice presidents,
Yeah.
there's an important change, potential change. It's about procedure. I think that following the logic of this discussion, we should stick with the original order. The president appoints before assembly elects.
Why?
First of all, because it's written in the statute. Second, it's very much in logic with what we discussed. I just heard the comment that if president appoints more, there will be less of his friends running. So I think it's very important that we stick with the existing order, that the presidential appointments, they will be followed by the election of the assembly, not the other way around. Just let's make sure that it sticks.
Gary, I think the answer that I have to that is that it could well be that somebody that the president wants is very good, wants to stand for election. They want to stand to be an elected vice president. Then they fail, they lose the election. And the president still wants that person, sorry, it could be a woman, that person to be a vice president. Then it gives him the chance to nominate someone who's lost an election.
I think it's absolutely unfair because it's a double election. You offer some people who are favorable to president 2 chances. I think it's wrong. I think it defies the principle of democracy.
In any case, these people they have 2 chances because if they will not be nominated by his son, they will run.
Yeah. But should
But
we,
my point. Yes, Juan.
should we spare that person for the humiliation of doing it that way? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
So he feels that if someone's lost an election,
You
then
lose an
why
election and then you're
the
appointed.
president
No,
nominates him?
the main idea it was that after the elections finish, the president, he thinks, okay, what are the people that I need? How many I need? From those that they have not get positions. And he nominates based on this. This is the idea. Maybe he will nominate 5. That's why it was not a concrete number. Maybe 2 or 3. Depends from how many he needs. Yes, please.
President Morris himself, South Africa. Surely, sir, if the president runs for election and he loses, he cannot be appointed now. He already ran and he lost. How can he not be appointed? It makes a mockery of the whole election system. If you run for vice president and you are not elected and then appointed, it makes a mockery of the election system.
Not quite. I mean, in England, if you lose an election, you get put in the House of Lords. I mean, it's,
Not
It works quite
in the
that way.
House.
Mr. Rivera.
I think, first of all, it would be better to forget for one moment the past political issues and all of this, and just think about best possible solution for a far future. And well, in a perfect world, vice president are something similar as the ministers in a government. So it's quite usual to have the head of the government that is elected, and after the election, he has to choose his ministers. So what would have been important is that these people have to be really effective in the government. So a good head of government have to decide what they have to do. And we have not to think, well, these people are just people that have helped in the election. They have to be paid for this, for example. So we have to find, in my opinion, a good solution for a government that can do a good work. So this is, I think, the idea we have to do. So what I can propose, we have to, for example, you are the president, you are elected. After, you have to present a motivated, really motivated. So something like this, these people will be in charge of this. These people, something maybe not just formal, not just for diplomatic reason, but I know that this is difficult, but maybe this could be a reasonable constitutional idea. So to have one way to create, because it's clear, the president has other different methods to achieve the same aim. For example, it can create a commission, or now we will not be able to create a commission, but can create something similar. What we have to do is to limit this and to create a system that can justify a reasonable body. So that's, I think, we have to forget this problem of the past and try to have an efficient system.
Thank you.
Actually, we should think about the point of view that why we are giving president to appoint vice president. Because, you know, when it comes to election, anyone can get elected. So we give president to obey someone because he needs people. He has confidence, right? So then it doesn't matter that no, he lost in election or where, because he needs people who can run with, right? So I don't think that no, we even as a committee can say president should appoint this guy. It's his consent that he's appointing anyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree, because I might decide to run as a vice president, but if I see who the president is nominating, I see, okay, this guy is good, I think he will take care of those same issues that I would like to promote, so I don't run. If we do the individual election first, I run against all the friends of the president, I lose. But if it's appointed first, all his friends and all the people he wants, the chances for anyone else to be elected individually later is greater or more fair in a way. So I agree that the president should really emphasize why I'm appointing this person and that person, really with a job description and everything. Then people can decide, is it the need for me to run, or should I
After this element, again.
Thank you, sir. I'll repeat my name, Marius from South Africa. The point I would like to make is that it is not the president who needs the help. It is FIDE who needs the assistance. It's FIDE which determines who the vice presidents are, not the president. They're also FIDE and not the president. So we all say that presidents need this and that, but it is FIDE, and as such, FIDE should vote who is to be elected as vice president. Thank you.
It's set aside the politics. I follow the advice of Roberto. I think we are now, by the way, defining the logic, because originally the item we discussed 10 minutes ago said that the president decides on number of appointments, and then the General Assembly elects exactly the same number. Is it correct? Which means, by definition, that president's decision comes first.
The president says, I would like 5.
No, wait.
The General Assembly can then say...
I know, but this is this. But then it's a contradiction with the general concept, that the president not picks up the number. He picks up the number because he has names already to fill these numbers. So I think it's by logic. If you follow the procedure, it should be president who comes up with names in 3, 4, 5, and then General Assembly elects. Otherwise, the whole logical construction that was discussed will be ruined.
I will agree with Gary to accept this proposal. First, Kisan nominates, then we run. Okay? Next one.
There's no more on that subject? Good. The next point is proxies. With proxies, I think one thing that was agreed was that there'd be a 14-day proxy registration period, i.e. the